single in the first. Watch out.
Look at this.
Upton pops it up. Left side, Elias Díaz is backpedaling. He is under it. He puts it away. The Texas Rangers have won a postseason series.
The Texas Rangers are American League champions.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you, top of the ninth inning. Of course, it can never be clean, can it? Can never be clean. Cole Winn really thought that he would have a good, solid, quality outing today. I just had a feeling. Trust your gut, man. You get burned, I guess. Cole Winn, nice seventh inning there, right? But the eighth inning just wasn't meant to be. You never feel amazing when you don't have all your horses. Looks like they're trying to avoid, obviously, using Junis and Lats. And look, that is what we talked about yesterday, isn't it? We discussed, hey, you won the series. Let's see if we can get a day, 2 days, that is, without Lats and Junis being used. Not sure what the plan is going to be for late. It looks like right now Santos is warming up, and so is Tyler Alexander. I think Alexander obviously is the guy you'd prefer to have next. In an ideal world, the Rangers hit a home run here and Alexander closes it out. I don't know. We want to get into Winston Santos territory. No offense to the young kid, but this is a big spot. Not the most ideal place to get your major league debut. Let's just be real about that. Alejandro Osuna has had a pretty nice day today, hitting the ball. Hasn't really gotten the production to show for it, but he's hit the ball pretty hard almost every time. Sure would be nice to get his first home run of the year right here. Rangers tied 2-2. Lucas, the right fielder, absolutely mashes a hanging off speed pitch from Cole Winn, who has just had a tough time really gaining traction this year. I think a lot of people saw Cole Winn as an X factor in the bullpen, myself included. I made a video about it. I really thought this was the year that Cole would take a positive step forward, and you just have not seen that from him, sadly. Great dude, but looking more and more like he may need a little bit of cooking down at Round Rock. I don't think the Rangers really have, a lot of options, a lot of choice right now. I do know that Chris Martin, I don't know if this gets you excited, but Chris Martin is rehabbing at Frisco right now. When he comes back, kind of feels like that might be the plan, right? Replace Cole Winn with Chris Martin. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong on that. But I will say that's how it's trending. Why not send, what do we got? Why not send Gray down for a day for a ready arm? I mean, they could have done that with Winn, couldn't they have? I mean, you could have sent down somebody. I get it. Winn is fresh, but it's just not a great situation. It's not a great situation today. We kind of knew that, though. We kind of knew coming into today the bullpen options weren't great. I mean, honestly, I'm not patting myself on the back here, but I told you guys exactly how this was going to go. You were going to have either Alexander open it up, which he didn't. Rocker pitched phenomenal today. It was going to be Winn. It was going to be Alexander, and it was going to be Rocker to bring it home. Young has a little gap shot here, a little 2-out double. Rangers are in business. Corey Seager, please. Corey Seager, please. 2-run bomb, make it 4-2. Tyler Alexander closes it out. We all go home happy. Come on, baby. No, Elias Díaz, he's most certainly not going to get DFA'd. Jackson, what's good, man? No, if anything, I posted about this during the game. I think Higgy is going to be the collateral damage. Sadly, I mean, in an ideal world, you roll with Higgy and Diaz, in my opinion. At least Higgy looks like, he can hit the broadside of a barn. Danny Jansen was very bad up at the plate. Look, the defense is not great from Danny either, one of the slowest pop times in baseball. But nevertheless, the contract is prohibitive. Go home! Get it! Yes! Yes! Oh, Kellenic! Oh, I missed the Kellenic pinch run. I thought it was Young there. I'm like, oh, Young, get on your freaking horse. It was Kellenic. The Rangers take a lead on a wild pitch. Oh, my goodness. I thought that was Young for a second. I missed the Kellenic sub. I was like, I saw him going home. I'm like, no, Young, no, don't go home. Don't go home, baby. That's so lucky, but I will take it too. Cade, 1,000%. I will take that all day long. Oh my, Jackson, right? The comment from Jackson on TikTok is, I was about to say, Young looks fast. Dude looks fast today. He did. I when he started rounding third, I thought it was still Young, and my brain was still processing. I'm like, Young, don't do it, baby. You're gonna be out by a mile, even though the catcher wasn't already at the ball yet. I'm like, Young, I love you. I don't know this is gonna go well. And then you realize it's Kellenic, and man, it just worked out perfectly. He ends up scoring. Rangers up 3-2. Wow. Corey Seager, add a little insurance. We're not done here, Corey. Come on, baby. Add a little insurance now for us. Zach says, I was mad at the substitution at first. I want to say this. You have to have priorities. And for me, the biggest thing here is, that you have a great opportunity with Corey Seager out there, right? Seager is out there, and he is able to get home that winning run or that go-ahead run. And so I do think putting in Kellenic there is definitely a good move. Seager has been a little bit cold of late. I don't think anybody's disputing that. Nobody's disputing that, but I do think it was a good move. I will say we have 100% nitpicked some of Skip Schumacher's moves. This was a good move by Skip. That's no question right there. Look, there's been a couple of others that we'll talk about throughout the show. I didn't really understand Skip not challenging that Vladdy Guerrero first base play. You had the opportunity to maybe get a run there. I think it was Osuna hit a scorcher down to first base. Looked like Vladdy tagged the bag and then threw home, which would make it a tag play at home plate instead of a force. The way that it played out was that it was a force at home, and then they threw it back to first base for the force. That was a little questionable. Yeah, Osuna batting lower than Carter was definitely another one, JN. I'm with you on that. I did not understand throwing Evan Carter right back in the fire. Man, we got some things to talk about after the game is over today. It might come up naturally. We're going to finish this one out, hopefully with the W, but man, there's some things to talk about today, that's for sure. Now, they're going Alexander. They're not throwing Latsy. They're going to go Alexander. I don't think Latz comes in now, Jeremy. Daniel, what's good, man? Thanks for hanging out. I don't think you bring Latz in here. I mean, that's just me. I think you give both of them down days. You've got Cleveland coming up, and you've got a game at home on Thursday. You really want those guys to be fresh. Corey's going to go down swinging here, and so you got an opportunity. Got an opportunity to win a series, sweep a series, win a ball game. Carter needed a lot longer in his minor league assignment. I think a lot of us, realize that. Definitely not rocket science. Look, I'm frustrated. I become more and more frustrated with, how the organization is handling Evan. And we're going to unpack that after the show. We'll do that in the post game. But, Evan's just, I don't feel like he's getting set up super great to succeed. Clearly, the guy in the box, the batter in the box is the one who has the most control. But I will say it just doesn't feel like Evan is getting set up super well this season. And just the way that his career has gone since 2023, I think there's some things we can look at. We'll do it after the game today, but we do have a bottom of the ninth inning to get to here. Looks like Tyler Alexander going to be coming on. With the overuse of Jacob Latz and Jacob Junis, I do think this is the right move today, regardless of yesterday. Jacob Latz had been used like 5 times in 7 days. I mean, that's ridiculous. 5 times in 7 days, man. Junis was, I believe, 5 and 8. 5 and 8 days. I fully support what Skip's doing today with the bullpen. Fully support it. Told you guys this was most likely how it was going to go. I fully support the pen decisions. Cleveland is going to be a tough series. They're going to hop on a flight, head back to the States, land in Cleveland later tonight. You want Latz and you want Junis fresh for that series. You don't have an off day till Friday, then 4th of July is on Saturday. Man, you want to have those 2 top arms in your pen fresh. Darno, what's good? Let's get 3, baby. Yeah, look, the farm system, you're not going to improve that in 1 year. It's going to be a multi-year fix, honestly. You're not going to make your farm instantly better. You can if you are fire sailing, but as we've talked about on the show, I don't foresee the Rangers doing any kind of fire sale. I just don't. So, we can agree to disagree there. I don't think Chris Young is going to pull the trigger on that. Tyler Alexander, look, he's had several saves before this year. I think we got to feel pretty good that he's at least been in this spot before. Doesn't mean that it's going to go perfectly, but you do take a little bit of solace in the fact that he's been there, done that with some saves this season. Here's the pitch. Ball outside. Alexander on the year. He's got some pretty good numbers. I think a lot of us have definitely taken notice. Tyler Alexander, he's had some games where he's gotten a little beat up, but by and large, he's been a solid arm for Texas. I don't think there's a big argument there. Don't think there's a lot of disputing that. Has he been, Louis Varland? No, but we just saw what happened to him, man. We've got now a 1-1 count. Pitch 3 incoming. Varsho up to bat right now. Little lefty. He's bunting. Oh, Diaz couldn't quite find it. Bunt went straight up in the air. Numbers on Alexander, 2.70 ERA. I mean, again, pretty healthy. Does have 3 saves on the season. Had, obviously, a save yesterday. Saved 2 games pretty quickly when Texas was still, figuring it out after Robert Garcia and, Chris Martin were kind of faltering and then got injured. And then, Junis and Latz took over pretty quickly after that. Strike 3. Alexander's going to sit down Dalton Varsho. The all-important first out in the bottom of the 9th inning, man. All important. Good stuff. Let's go, Ty. Come on, baby. Rangers going for the series sweep. By the way, I'm looking at the MLB page for Tyler Alexander. Todd the Painter is the nickname. Man, I don't know. Maybe I've been living under a rock. How have I not heard this nickname? Seager's got it. He flips it over to first, and we got 2 down. Todd the Painter. Hadn't heard that nickname yet, man. I think I might be living under a rock. Todd the Painter. Tyler Alexander also went to TCU. Didn't know that about Tyler Alexander. TCU guy. How about that? Drafted by the Tigers. I'm giving you the whole bio right now. But the most important thing, we need 1 more out. Let's go, baby. Alejandro Kirk standing in the way. Todd the Painter doesn't do it for you, Big Tex. I got to admit, it's not quite hitting me yet either, but maybe it's some kind of inside joke. Oh. All right, we got 1-1. Nickname has been said a few times. Man, like I said, I must be living under a rock, man. Is that more radio or is that, I wonder if that's broadcast. Big Tech's good one, baby. 1 strike away. 1 strike away. Come on. Let's go, Tyler Alexander. Let's go, baby. He sets and delivers. Tried to get the back door off speed to catch the plate. It did not. 2-2 count. We got 2s. Oh, what a big win this would be. Here we go, pitch 5. Little timeout here. Alejandro Kirk, by the way, on the season, Kirk is hitting 186 with a 556 OPS. Definitely, a dangerous hitter. Want to watch out for him, but not having a great year so far. Kirk drives 1 to right field. That's going back. Nimmo makes the catch. What a play by Brandon Nimmo. He crashes into the right field wall. He might be hurt. He hangs on and he makes the catch. Let's go check on Nimmo, baby. What a play. Dude is a freaking warrior. Rangers win, but we might have Brandon Nimmo down for the count here. Come on, baby. Get up. You're all right. Come on, Nims. You're all right, baby. What a play to end that game, man. Brandon Nimmo with a web gem. Beautiful catch against the wall. You know what's sad? The first thing I think about, man, if only we could have had Brandon Nimmo in 2011, baby. Am I right? If only we could have had Brandon Nimmo 15 years ago. Man, what a freaking play. What a play. Jackson, I'm sorry, man. It's the first thing I think about. I know some of y'all do too. Every time there's a ball back to right field that goes over somebody's head. Nimmo looks like he's okay. He looks like he's okay. He's jogging in. Rangers sweep. Cue the I Like Texas music. Hello, win column. Man, never a doubt. Never a doubt. The Rangers take early leads in every single one of these games. And they find a way to make it very interesting late and still hang on for the wins. Just very thematic as you go through this weekend, this 4-game stretch. And Texas now finds themselves back at 500, 42-42. Now, last time this happened, we were 500, I think, for a day, and then we lost to the Red Sox. We went to Boston and soiled the bed. So maybe we could have a different result this time around heading to Cleveland for the next 3-game set. Tied for the division lead, at least for a few minutes. There you go. Love it. Great weekend. Great day to be a Rangers fan. We'll check on some of the results from around the AL West and the American League in general. Mariners are, looks like, up 4-2, but the Mariners are in trouble. Mariners have runners on first and second to deal with. Cleveland up to bat, nobody out. So maybe Cleveland makes a little noise here. Yeah, I hope Nimmo's okay too. I think he's going to be, but it's not going to shock me if he needs a day. Not going to shock me if he needs one. Applause for Kumar Rocker, 100%. Kumar Rocker, I have to say, I don't care about, just the stat line. I think all things considered, contextualizing it, this was the best outing for me of the season for him. You don't have the opener. In Colorado and in Miami, you had the opener. I love that you don't have the opener. You're going to a place that historically is difficult to play. Blue Jays, obviously defending AL champs. They've still got a lot of the same players from the AL championship team from last year. I think this is the best outing of the season for Kumar. It feels like maybe some of those Miami and Colorado starts or outings can be behind, but you have a chance today to go and get a series sweep. You've got limited help behind you, bullpen wise, and you go out and you freaking shove zeros and really looked in control. Like you didn't see the same kind of labor from Rock like when you're doing the 25, 30 pitch innings every other frame. You had him very controlled, getting quick innings, getting quick outs. Love it. Rocker was great. Not a lot of negatives to say about Kumar today and the job that he did. I mean, you had very small, very razor thin margins for error today with really only two relievers behind you. If Rock gets lit up like a Christmas tree, you're pretty much putting in Santos and, you're doing mop up duty. You had two guys that you felt comfortable throwing today. Cole Winn, I think all of us have felt a little up and down about him and what he's done this year. 6.58 ERA. Almost went poorly, but you had Tyler Alexander come in, slam the door shut, lowers the ERA to 2.62, gets his fourth save of the season. Love Brandon Nimmo putting his body on the line. That was a phenomenal play. Incredible effort there to secure a series sweep. A lot of respect for Brandon Nimmo. He plays the game hard, got a lot of heart, just a good dude in general, and it's having a pretty solid season for Texas. Pretty solid season so far. Even with how this season has gone, division is still there for the taking. Rangers got to make their move. This is kind of where I'm at too. Like, make your move on the field, right? But, man, you would love to see Texas start making some moves to improve and fill holes. I hope CY's got his eye on a couple of different pieces. We've already talked about some of them. I think you need to go get a bullpen piece. Clearly, we've seen it's a little shorthanded out there right now. Yes, you got Chris Martin coming back. He's rehabbing today, but I think you may want to go out and get another piece there. Would love to see them go get a bat. There's a couple of different things the Rangers really need, I think, if you genuinely want to see them have success in October. Make the playoffs. They might be able to limp it to the playoffs, I think, with what they've got right now. Might be able to. Win the whole thing, you got to go out and make some moves. Got to go out and make some moves. All right. At this point, let's go ahead and let's get into as much as we can, man. Player of the game, Kumar Rocker on the pitching side. I don't think that you have to think about that one for very much. It's got to be Kumar Rocker. And then for me, on the offensive side, I'm going to go Elias Díaz. Joc Pederson, I think, could be right up there with the leadoff home run. But Elias Díaz, clutch hit that gave the Rangers, doubled up the Rangers' lead, had another base knock today. Just been a bright spot, controlling the running game as well. They were talking about it on the broadcast, just his presence back there, the pop time, the arm. Teams are so much less sure about running on the Rangers when you've got Elias Díaz behind the dish. Stuff that doesn't show up in the box score, right? That's the stuff that you're not going to really understand just cherry picking that. I mean, it was very obvious during the game today. In steal situations, the Blue Jays were not running. Why weren't they running? Because you've got a guy behind the dish that has one of, if not the best pop time in baseball and can throw runners out. And for so long, man, for the last couple of years, we have just been in misery with the catcher situation, just getting run on relentlessly by other teams. That's what every opposing team at the end of last year would try to do to us, just eat us alive through stealing bases. So for me, that's where I'm going. Joc Pederson could be co-offensive with that home run on the first pitch. Very impressive. Good to see Josh Young getting involved today, having a couple of hits. I know he had one yesterday, a double at the end of the game, but JJ's been struggling a little bit of late. It's good to see him go multi-hit. And beyond that, a lot of zeros. Let's just call it like it is, a lot of zeros. But at the end of the day, you scored just enough to get the win, and that's what matters. You had a lot going on with, Evan Carter getting called back up. Wyatt Langford going on the IL this morning. I was posting a little bit about that here and there. You had a lot of moving parts today. The bullpen not being at full strength, clearly another big component. But you got the job done. You win 4 out of 4. And, man, Blue Jays got to be in misery right now. Is that 7 L's in a row for them? Is that 7 losses in a row for the Blue Jays? Brutal stretch for the Jays, man. Absolutely brutal. Let's check it out right now. I think it is 7 at this point, isn't it? They've lost 7 in a row now. Brutal time to be a Jays fan. They are now 10.5 games. They'll be 11 games out of first place. Don't know what they're at in the wild card. Let's check out the wild card standings right now. They're 3 games out of the wild card. Texas temporarily division leaders. At least on MLB.com. I ought to take a screenshot right now. At least right now, they got the Texas Rangers, division leaders in the West, 4 wins in a row. Good stuff, man. All right, let's get comments and questions. We're obviously going to do a preview of the following series as well, of the next series. That should be good. Rangers are going to hop on a happy flight, man. And look, they got a tough matchup tomorrow. Parker Messick is going to be on the bump. Look, the Rangers actually, they got to Parker Messick, if you remember, on that Friday night, Tejas night. I think that was Corey Seager. Wasn't that Corey Seager taking him deep? I forget who it was that took him deep a couple of starts ago. But Parker Messick going to be on the mound for the Guardians. We're going to get into that full series. But that will definitely be another test for Texas, man. That they are definitely a good, just quality ball club, man. He gave up 2 homers in that game. Wow. So that was Higgy and Seager. I was right on the Seager one. Seager and Higgy. Rangers won that game 3-2. Jacob Latz closed it out. Peyton Gray got the win in that game. So hopefully another repeat there. But Parker Messick's good. We'll talk more about him in just a little bit. Yeah, tied with the Mariners right now. Isn't it DeGrom tomorrow, though? I thought it was like kind of a foregone conclusion. It was DeGrom tomorrow. Am I off on that? I didn't think it was like a debate or like a questionable thing. DeGrom tomorrow or no? Joc interview right now. We'll listen in a little bit.
Especially against a team like this in Toronto. The Rangers have actually only done it now 3 times this decade. What does it take to sweep a series like this?
You got to do everything right, you know. Some things got to go well for you, but you got to play good baseball, clean baseball. And we did a really good job with that. Pitchers threw strikes, we scored some runs.
All right, thanks, Joc. First time, Joc
Good stuff.
Gets a gift card to Chalosa Restaurants.
Joc gets the Chalosa gift card. There you go, baby. Oh, man. I could have sworn it was DeGrom tomorrow. I guess you guys are right. I could have sworn it was DeGrom. DeGrom threw on Wednesday. So, yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's so weird. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? That's the weirdest thing to me. Was there some reasoning why DeGrom is not going to throw tomorrow? They've already, on MLB, they already have DeGrom for Tuesday. DeGrom pitched on Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days rest? What are we doing? I don't understand that. Maybe they covered it already, but, I don't really get the idea of giving DeGrom 5 days rest. Dude, 4 is very, very typical. Cleveland just took the lead. Yes, sir. Let's go. They hit a bomb? It was 4-4 last time I checked. What happened? Good stuff, man. I'd love to see the Guards take that game. I mean, look, on one hand, you're like, not necessarily what you want to do playing a hot team, but honestly, the Rangers against winning ball clubs, you're kind of living with it at this point. Man, you wonder why. I wonder what the reasoning is. Let me know. Does anybody know why they're giving DeGrom the 5th day of rest? Just trying to rest him up a little bit? I don't know. I did not hear the reasoning why they're deciding to give DeGrom that 5th day of rest. In the pregame show is when he mentioned it. Interesting. Man, I can't say I love that, but it is what it is. I guess you're kind of playing with house money, having just swept the Blue Jays, but still. Wanted to give guys extra rest on the pregame. Okay, Zachary, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. We have got 6-4 Guardians. Wow. Mariners meltdown, although there's a challenge going on. Yeah, I'm not saying it's the worst idea in the world. I just hate that it kind of kills the momentum. It feels like a little bit. Rangers might just go out and win it. Honestly, this team is so weird sometimes. They might just go ahead and win the game tomorrow, even with, nobody pitching. But you would just love to throw DeGrom tomorrow. Just win 5 in a row. Just have that, confident ace out there. I would like it. But I understand the mentality and the reasoning if it is to just give him a little bit of an extra day. It doesn't feel like we've got a lot of bullpen arms left. I think, you're probably going to have Latz and Junis available. I think 2 days down is good for them. I think they'll probably be back in action. I think you'll also have a couple of the other guys that threw yesterday. Obviously, Peyton Gray, I'm sure, could probably throw another one if he had to, but it's going to be interesting. Winston Santos, Corniel got sent down, though, didn't he? Somebody was mentioning Corniel in the comments. Corniel is down in AAA, I'm pretty sure. I don't think he is going to be an option for tomorrow unless he gets recalled. I'm thinking it might be Santos and the rest of the bullpen. I thought Corniel is in AAA. Remember, my understanding is Corniel was sent down and Santos was brought up. So I don't think you could do a piggyback there. You've got just Santos. Corniel got sent down for Santos. Yeah, I see. Maybe you're going to bring back up another one. I see what you're saying, man. I get it now. I'm following you. I would think you would do that on a lighter day or something, maybe. But obviously lighter down until August, so we'll see what happens. How is Rocker pitched when he has a lead on the road? I mean, I don't know what the numbers say. Do you? But clearly today that's what happened, and he pitched pretty well. Happy the Rangers got the sweep. Logan, what's good, man? But we're going to need the Mariners to hit a losing streak to help. Yup. That's for sure. Rangers about to be division leaders. We'll see. We will see. Thanks all y'all for hanging out. I appreciate you guys. We're full into our post-game show right now, kind of talking through things today, kind of talking through the series that's coming up. I wish we could too. He's pitching the next day or so. Yeah, I'm thinking I get the rationale, but yeah, selfishly, you'd love to just stay hot and have DeGrom throwing tomorrow. I think that's the bottom line here. Thoughts on Collie not playing today? Is a Collie Kellenic move possible with lefty going for Cleveland? I think they're going to monitor the Wyatt Langford situation a little bit here. But, Kellenic, I think, is going to be the guy that, ends up getting DFA'd when Wyatt comes back. Unless Wyatt is going to be, down for a long time, I think you're probably going to DFA Kellenic when Langford is healthy again. Wyatt, it's too bad what's going on with Wyatt. I don't want to bring the vibes down too much by talking about that situation, but we cover a gamut of topics in the post game always. Look, the big picture, Rangers just swept the Blue Jays. And that is the biggest story, the biggest takeaway from today. We can talk about some of the underlying storylines. Wyatt Langford's one of the bigger ones. Wyatt, to me, you were seeing him running around so hard, effort, just a lot of heart, a lot of hustle, a lot of effort over the weekend, trying to stretch singles into doubles, stealing bags. You were seeing him just exert a lot of energy this weekend. And you love to see players play with that kind of aggression, to play with that level of effort and hustle. But in the back of my mind, I told you guys, I'm like, man, I really hope that he does not end up tweaking something, getting hurt. They were commenting multiple times, Baxic and Raymond, about how hard he slides into second base. I told you guys in April when Wyatt Langford had to go on the IL and missed, 40 games, 39 games. He's getting dangerously close to the injury prone label. And I do think, in my mind, that's where Wyatt's at right now. That doesn't mean he's going to be injury prone forever and ever, but it's a lot of trips to the IL in a very short career. And you look at other examples around the league, and you don't really have that same thing. Injuries are a part of the game, no doubt. Much like Corey Seager, though, Wyatt has to figure out, and the medical staff, let's group them in this too. The medical staff and Wyatt in tandem have to figure out how he can be more available. He's missed, I think we did the math, in a possible 250 games, he's missed 100. He's missed 100 games out of 250. We're talking about Wyatt Langford right now, who got put in the IL this morning, hamstring stuff. He's, like I said, had 250 total-ish possible games that he could have played in. And he's missed, over 100 of them by this point. So to me, that definitely is a player that is injury prone, and something needs to be done to change that trajectory. I don't know what it is. You don't know how good you're going to be at slowing Wyatt down. Dude, don't run as hard. It's so hard, man, to tell a competitor, to tell, an athlete like Wyatt to do that. You get in the moment, the adrenaline gets pumping. It is hard to slow it down. It really is. But the Rangers have to get creative here. They cannot continue to have Wyatt Langford going to the injured list multiple times in a given season. Once missing 40 games is bad enough, right? And that's bad enough. But then to have another stint, within 2 or 3 weeks of getting off from the first injury, it's just tough. It really is. And so, look, prayers up for Wyatt. I hope that he can recover quickly. He was on such a heater when he got hurt. You just hate to see it end this way. You think that maybe he can get back quickly if they give the hammy some time to cool down. But the hammies are so sensitive, man. It's not like a clear-cut thing. Those things can flare up so easily, even with some rest days. If it's me, I am giving him an extended time off, and I am hoping that he can come back and help me, around the trade deadline. I think that that's what my expectation is. Maybe he can come back in late July. I would be surprised if we saw him back in the 10 days. And I don't know. Maybe they're just being really proactive here, and they just decided, hey, we're going to put you on the IL. We want to get somebody else up here. But I don't know. And I don't know. I think if they really were, just playing this safe and easy, I don't know why you would have rushed Evan Carter right back up. So, a part of me feels like this is maybe going to be something that is a little longer lasting, right? I hope that he can make it back by the very end of the month of July, before the trade deadline. But I think at minimum he's going to be out for 2 weeks. And I would say might be closer to a month, depending on if they want to have a rehab stint, rehab assignment, anything like that. I don't think the Evan Carter option is wasted, though, because you had him just down for a rehab assignment, right? So no wasted option for Evan Carter. You never optioned him, right? He was just rehabbing, which is different than when you straight up demote a player. So Carter needed to stay down there. He needed to stay. He needed to get that rhythm and timing back, and it's unfortunate that he's not able to get that. It's a good segue. We talked about Wyatt. It is what it is with Wyatt. You love the potential, but Wyatt's got to be more available. You know, I'm not a guy that just sits around and says tough luck, tough luck, tough luck. We were talking about this with Corey Seager. You know, there's only so many times you can say, man, that's tough luck. And honestly, tough luck is like when you get hit on the hand with a pitch, right? You know, tough luck is, you know, what happened to Corey Seager, honestly. You know, the concussion, that's tough luck to me. You know, when you're getting hammy injuries and, you know, all this kind of stuff, that to me, I stop saying tough luck and you start thinking about things like, you know, what kind of programs are they running these guys through? Prevention, injury prevention, you know, off-season stuff. You start wondering about those kinds of things when you see hammies, you know, start breaking down, quads, you know, start getting sore, things of that nature. Carter definitely needed more time. He needed more time. Brandon Nimmo, by the way, hit his head when he crashed into the wall, Sean McFarland says. So I'm sure they're going to be monitoring him for a concussion. Not going to be surprising if we don't have Nims tomorrow in Cleveland. I would imagine they might give him a day off and might be Kellenic, Carter, and Osuna for that starting three out there for tomorrow night's game. If I had to guess, that would probably be the right play. Now, let's talk a little bit about Evan Carter. You know, we all clearly understand. I think most of us are on the same page. Evan needed a little bit more time down in the minor leagues. He's not going to get it. The more and more I get faced with Evan Carter and some of the struggles he's going through, the less I get mad or upset with Evan. And the more and more I find myself just frustrated with the ownership and the front office and how they've kind of failed him, honestly, since he really took over in 2023 and helped the Rangers win their first World Series. Look, this is a player that has kind of become a glorified defensive specialist platoon player. And I say glorified because I see so many people pumping up Evan Carter as, you know, just this defensive guy who's, you know, so elite with the glove and, you know, kind of using that as the crutch, if you will, for Evan. I just want to remind people this is a top prospect. Like, Evan Carter is a top prospect in the organization. Leody Taveras was a top prospect in our organization. And both of those guys at the end, I don't want to say at the end for Evan because I think he'll be around for a while, but at the end for Leody, all he did was play, you know, against righties, and, you know, we benched him against lefties, and we all lauded the defense, which kind of fell off a cliff, honestly, in 2025. Evan, to me, has not been put in great positions by the organization. This is another one. This isn't really a great position for him to be in, not getting a proper rehab. Skip on the mic right now.
Every single guy on our roster to win each game. They pitched or played in different spots that they're not used to playing in. These types of series like really help the clubhouse like gel together too. So yeah, really proud of the whole group. There's no second guessing. They did whatever was needed, and our staff, our coaching staff, was amazing as well.
Probably the best road start we've seen from Kumar this season, not including those two games when he's pitched behind an opener.
Talking about Kumar Rocker now.
What do you think he was able to carry over from that outing in Miami?
And he and Diaz work really well together. A lot of sliders the first in Miami, and then he was on the attack really with the fastball today. So kind of mix it up based on the game plans with Teagues, and then utilize the slider to put away. But I thought his fastball command was one of the best.
The Diaz and Rocker tandem, that's interesting.
In and outside to righties and lefties, but the slider's real. He could throw it at any time to strike guys out. But again, the fastball command was fantastic.
A bit of a scary end to this game, just seeing the way Brandon Nimmo caught that ball. What did he tell you when you ran out there?
He hit his head against the wall. That was the biggest issue for him. When you have glasses on too, with the hat and everything just compresses against your face. It doesn't feel great. So we'll see how he feels, you know, going into the training room. But the good news is he got up, high-fiving people and saying congratulations. So that was a good sign. But we'll see what the trainers say after the game.
Okay, so we've got a few different things I take away from the Skip presser there. First of all, Diaz. And we were talking about Elias Díaz earlier. Clearly, Diaz is a guy that, the Rangers weren't counting on to start the season. So you credit the front office for finding him. I don't love that they decided that the best plan was Danny Jansen, Kyle Higashioka. But Diaz, to me, is, just a very quiet MVP today. So he has the good connection with Rocker. They had that same connection in Miami. That's kind of what Skip was talking about. And I just don't think in general you can underscore enough how valuable it is to have a catcher like Diaz that calls a good game, but also just helps with the stolen base game, the running game. You don't have teams stressing out the starting pitcher by stealing all over them because you got Diaz back there. Right? Diaz is one of the best pop times in baseball. He's got a good arm. He's thrown out runners in the past. Teams are very hesitant to run on Diaz in comparison to Higgy and in comparison to Danny Jansen. And so I just want to go ahead and highlight him one more time. I already have. That is a huge development. You wonder how much more of a positive impact he would have if he had the entire staff to himself. And look, I'm not trying to slander Higgy. I think he's had some nice moments with the bat. Obviously, Higgy is not known for being, a defensive mastermind back there, but I do think Diaz has had a net positive on a number of different things that just aren't going to show up in the box score. And look, he does come up clutch, man. He puts the ball in play. That's the thing I love. Of course, he's going to strike out here and there, but he puts the ball in play, puts the bat on the ball, and that's so huge. Diaz and Lopez, Miguel, I'm with you on this. Very solid pickups. I credit the front office for finding him. You guys know I'm hard on the front office at times. I give them a lot of credit. You at least righted the ship by finding Nicky Lopez, or I should say, deciding to take a chance on him and deciding to take a chance on Elias Díaz. You definitely have to give them a little bit of love for that. Yes, they've made some boneheaded decisions. I think the offseason could have gone a lot differently, but credit to them for pivoting. And they had to, right? Injuries and, you had the Josh Smith injury. You had, obviously, the DJ, the Danny Jansen injury. Injuries kind of forced them into these moves, but you still have to pick the right guy ultimately. Diaz is going nowhere. There's no way they are going to be DFAing Diaz. I don't know how long Danny Jansen is going to need, but sadly, I do think it is the ending of Kyle Higashioka's Rangers tenure whenever Danny Jansen gets back. If DJ gets back before the trade deadline, I would imagine they'll explore a trade for Higgy. There's just no way that you can get a team. And in my opinion, I don't think there's going to be a lot of teams trying to take on Danny Jansen and the contract. It's not a good contract. Front office was ill-advised in giving it out. You could have had Diaz for much cheaper. It is what it is, but I think Higgy is the collateral damage here. Sadly, you're just not going to be able to carry all three of those guys. Yeah, look, they're bad moves. You know how I roll, Caden. A lot of Rangers fans, I think are on the same page with this. There's been some bad moves. You try and give a little bit of credit where it's due. I know some people feel I'm always a bit too negative or too harsh. When you're not making the playoffs and this is potentially year 3, hopefully the Rangers can get into October. Clearly, I'm cheering for that. I'm rooting for that. When you've had the team miss the playoffs the last 2 years, I think it's pretty natural for fans to be a little bit down, to be a little bit negative. I surely don't hold it against anybody. It's passion, man. It's passion for the team. When you got people that are upset and frustrated and pissed off about how things are going, it's because they care. That's because they love the team. And so for me, I never hold it against anybody that, gets upset about something that this team does or the front office does, man. I know it's passion. And so I just want to ask you guys, clearly you interact with me a lot more than some of the other random people that roll by or find my posts here and there. But, man, leave a little room for some passion for people, man. It's It's really okay. Like, this is a team that's made the playoffs one time in the past decade. And they did win a World Series that one time, and that's incredible. But I would just encourage you, man, leave some room for people to be passionate, even if it's a little bit negative. Even if it's negative, man, it's passion. And we need more people. This is what I always tell people too. We need more people that care. We need more people that sometimes are a little bit negative. It's what makes the game. It's what makes the season. It's what makes this more entertaining, interesting, and on whole honesty, in some cases, it's what fuels things forward. Right? If everybody's just ho humming it, trying to sugarcoat left and right, there's no pressure on the front office to do anything. No pressure at all. And that I think honestly, that's how the front office has gotten away with a lot in the past, even in the past years in the early 2000s with, the mismanagement and bad contracts and things like that. You don't have enough people that are super passionate about the Rangers putting pressure. I want to see more people, even if it's negative, get fired up about this team. That's where people online, I think, get really misguided. They look at my post, which maybe slants slightly negative, and they automatically in their mind say to themselves, that's bad. That's bad. Why are you so negative? You're not a real fan. You're negative. That, I think, is the exact opposite. I would submit if someone is transparent with their emotions and they are being critical of the team that they love, that's passion, man. It's passion. I just want to encourage you, don't discourage people from showing that. Clearly, you know how I roll. I don't try to, get vulgar. I don't call names. There's a lot of people out there that are a lot more explicit than I am in my takes on this team. And that's the perspective too that people really lack when they go at me online. It's like, man, you realize there are people that are so much more vulgar than I am in their descriptions of the team. So much more. Man, my stuff is PG in comparison to some of the stuff I see. But you got a lot of people trying to pipe down any negativity. It's like that's kind of the opposite of what you want to do if you want to see this team really get bigger. I want baseball to feel huge in Texas. Like I tell you guys, the reasons I started this way back when, the reasons that I really began Right on Rangers. I wanted community and conversation, man. I wanted a place where I would have a chance to talk ball with you guys, to see what you guys have to say. And then the second is I want to see baseball get huge in Arlington, man. We got the Cowboys right next door. Obviously NBA, real popular, Mavericks, they've had their ups and downs. I want to see baseball get huge in Arlington. And I don't feel like it's big enough right now. And that's another mission that I've kind of set out to do with Right on Rangers. I just want to see the support for the team, the conversation around the team get as big as possible. Let's keep rolling. Seattle lost. Good. Rangers in first place, baby. Never a doubt. Never a doubt. Nate, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Darnell, appreciate you as well. Thank you so much. I know y'all are good. And look, a lot of the people that, like I said, are always giving me crap for my takes don't really hang out on the live shows, don't really know what it's all about. And it's easy to do. You see one random tweet and you think you got somebody figured out, right? But all y'all that hang out, yeah, I mean, do I go over the top sometimes when I post on X and Facebook? 1,000%. But you know what I tell you guys all the time, and you've seen my genuine reactions to things. It is an emotional roller coaster for me watching the Rangers play baseball. I'm not even going to lie to you. It is an emotional freaking roller coaster. So are some of my takes a little hot? Yes, absolutely. But you have to understand that's how much I love this team. It's passion. Some people call it something different. That's fine. But you guys know how I am. It's all passion, emotion during the game, highs and lows. After the game, we take a breath. We either do our celebratory post-game live or we do our therapy session. And we're good. I appreciate all you guys hanging. All right, we got to get this back on track. Let's talk some baseball here. We've been talking too much online nonsense. Let's actually talk some baseball here. What do you guys got for me? Matt, I agree. There is a good balance. It's mainly there's just so many people that if you're ever negative, the tweets get pulled up and you get dunked on. Like, I got people today dunking on me for my Joc Pederson takes. I'm like, come on. If you were critical of Joc Pederson last year, you had every right to be. Every right to be critical of Joc last year. And you know what? If you were a Joc apologist who always defended Joc and stood by him the entire time, man, that's good for you, but that's not analysis, right? That's not analysis. Like that's just you being a homer fan who's relentlessly loyal. And that's not the game I'm trying to play. I love these guys on the team, but there comes a time where I have to just give a fair analysis of what's going on. I can't be defending, 0 for 42 stretches. Isn't that what Joc Pederson was last year? 0 for 42, something like that. I mean, what? You guys would laugh me off of this live if I was on here saying, Joc's going to figure it out, man. He's great. He's awesome. You guys don't even know. He's going to be great next year. Like, everybody would have just laughed me off the live. It was totally fair to be critical of the players that weren't playing well last year. But you know what I always say? As long as you can eat some crow and be positive when those players are doing well, I have no issue with it. Like, that's the one thing I always try and tell people. Like, Joc this year doing well doesn't piss me off. It pisses some people off when certain players on the Rangers do well for whatever reason. Like, Osuna's one of them. I notice it. Some people just really cannot get past that Alejandro Osuna is one of the more clutch players we have. And they almost get mad when he does well. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't cheer for anybody to ever do poorly. Joc hitting the home run today, I probably cheered as loud as I ever have, man. I love Joc going off like this. I love it. Nate, is this serious? The comment, by the way, on TikTok, I know you guys can't see it. This is a comment from Twitter. Nate, this is gold, man. Nate says that I think the Joc slump was 0 for 41 because I remember someone saying that Joc did it in honor of Dirk. Because Dirk was 41. That is freaking hilarious, man. I never knew that was a thing. That is great. Nate, thank you, brother. That is awesome. Look, nobody was wrong criticizing Joc last year. That's what it's a head scratcher to me, man. But as long as you can be positive about Joc this year, even if you were negative about him last year, man, it's not really about, who was right. You can be right last year being critical of the 0 for 41. And you can also be right this year cheering for Joc because he's doing well. I mean, seriously. So I'm rooting for Joc this year. Now, if you want to just ask me, Austin, is the contract worth it now? No. The contract is not ever going to be worth it unless Joc Pederson plays every day and becomes Barry freaking Bonds. The contract's never going to be worth it. But am I enjoying what I'm getting right now out of Joc? 1,000%. Absolutely. How could you not? You're not a real fan if you can't enjoy Joc's success right now. You know how people tell you you're not a real fan if you're negative? You're not a real fan if you're not enjoying Joc hitting a bomb to begin the game today. I love that I was wrong about Joc too, man. Look, I love that I was wrong this season, because this season, when he went 0 for 17, I was willing to cut ties with him. And that would have been bad. That would not have been a good move. I think Joc, looking back, it would have been a bad move to cut ties with Joc. It would have been. So I got to eat some crow, raise my hand and eat some crow in that department. But were you wrong last year? No, you were right on the money if you were giving Joc some crap last year. And he should even be able to say that. Love the Rangers too. they act like it's rooting against them to call them out. Justin, 100%. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for all the likes on the show today, man. You always come through clutch in that way. Yeah, that's where I think the real fan debate actually lies. If you can't be happy that the Rangers are doing well because, this would kind of be the equivalent. I say, Jack Leiter is never going to be an ace, and then when he goes out and throws 6 shutout innings, I'm pissed off about it. No, I don't think that is really being a real fan. I think at that point you're rooting to be right more than you're rooting for the Rangers' success. And by the way, I think I've been clear on Jack Leiter. I don't know Jack's ever going to be a front of the line ace, but I do feel like Jack could be a really solid number 2 starter, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're a solid number 2 starter in this league, you've done pretty dang well for yourself. So that's the other thing, man. It's like sometimes if you're not proclaiming somebody to be the best of the best, you're a hater. No, I think Leiter could actually be a really good pitcher, but I don't know that he's ever going to be a frontline ace. I don't. And, it's the same with a lot of these players. Like Berger, Young, all these guys that are doing well right now. Do I think it's going to last forever? Probably not. Do I think that Berger and Young are going to become the elite of the elite in the MLB? No, I don't. Do I think they're each having really good years in 2026? Absolutely. And am I enjoying it? Yes. I would love to see all these guys that are doing well right now continue to have success moving forward because it's only going to benefit the Rangers. And you know what? That's what's most important. The Rangers winning ball games. We get to have some fun debating all this little stuff, which I love, and I know you guys do too. But the bottom line is the Rangers are winning ball games, baby. And that is what's most important. Always. Always. Now, today's game. Let's put a bow on it, and then let's talk a little bit about the series coming up here. So, Joc Pederson starts off the game with the bomb. Clearly, ever since he moved to the leadoff spot, something's been unlocked. He's an 804 OPS. Did have the 3 Ks today, but nevertheless, you start off with a bang like that. Real hard to be super critical of Joc, even though the other ABs didn't necessarily put the ball in play a ton. Josh Young talked a little bit about youngster. JJ, 2 knocks today, obviously had the double that led to the game-winning run being scored. That's huge. Absolutely huge. And so JJ over the last, 7 games, the numbers aren't pretty. He was in an 0 for 20, I believe, an 0 for 20 slump. Not great. He's hitting 172 over his last 7 games, but you hope that the hit yesterday and the 2 hits today can kind of launch him forward. Now, other guys in the lineup. Seager 0 for 3 with 2 walks. You had the nice home run yesterday. Corey, to me, I hope that by the time the second week of July rolls around, we're really singing a different tune about Corey. The errors today, or the errors, I should say, over the last 2 days are a little disheartening. I think there's a lot of noise around Corey already when it comes to the shortstop position. And I don't think he's doing himself a lot of favors booting the ball around when Zeke Duran has been playing so well. I just hope Corey gets his timing back. But I do think, man, if you see him continue to kick the ball around this year, they might limp it to the finish line and save the tough talk for the offseason. But you just cannot have your team leader like that. And I know some people might laugh at that because a lot of people don't feel like Corey Seager is really a team leader. I do think he has a commanding presence in the clubhouse, but I think obviously outwardly that's not something that he's showing a lot. But Corey has got to pick it up a little bit here. He's got to be available. We've talked about that. The bat's got to get going. And we've got to have at least routine defense, man. We've got to have routine defense. And Corey had the error yesterday. I don't think he got charged with an error. Like, again, you guys want to know why you never trust fielding percentage. Never trust fielding percentage. The reason is Corey Seager yesterday doesn't get an error for booting the ball around and losing out on the double play opportunity yesterday. He got an error today. He got the error today for the bad throw, but fielding percentage, man, rarely gets it right. These guys can boot the ball around. They give somebody a hit anyways. It's just something that we're going to have to monitor the rest of the way. Corey is easing himself back into play. We'll give him the weekend. I'll give him another week here. That second week of July, I really got to see him fire it up, man. Dan, I'm with you on that. Got to pick up the slack. Why is Cole Winn still with the big league team? Luca, what's good? I don't know if you're still hanging out. I think Cole is probably going to go back down to AAA. I think you've got Curvello, you've got Collier. There are options. So I do imagine he might get sent back down. It's not going to surprise me even if they do it tonight or tomorrow. I think that you probably want to have a fresh arm up for the Guardian series. Rangers have 4 games in a row coming up here. Cole Winn went multiple innings for you. So it's not going to surprise me if we get that Cole Winn notification that he's been demoted. And that doesn't mean it's the end for him. He's got to go back down and pitch well at Round Rock. But I would be a little bit surprised if they keep him up. Now, we are going to go back to the lineup today. Nimmo 0 for 2, but had the outstanding catch to end the game. Brandon, 753 OPS. And over his last 15 games, very solid, man. 850 OPS, 293 average. Nimmo was really dipping there for about a month. And I feel like over the past couple weeks, he's done a really nice job with the bat. And then obviously the great, outstanding catch to end the game. Justin had 3 lefty outfielders currently. Yeah, that's the interesting part, isn't it? You're going to have a little bit of an interesting debate there. You could throw Duran out there to give you a righty option, right? But I think a lot of people, want to see Duran in the infield. I think I would much rather see Duran. It feels criminal to leave him out in the outfield. It feels criminal having Zeke Duran running around out there in the outfield with how good he is and how good the arm is in the infield. But it might be what they have to do. Like, Nicky Lopez is playing really well. I don't necessarily want to move Nicky Lopez off of second base when there's a righty. And if you're not going to move Corey Seager off a shortstop, which I'm not saying the Rangers should do, but if you're not going to do that, Duran is kind of blocked a little bit here, isn't he? So I do think that it is going to be an interesting situation with all the lefty outfielders they have. And Cam Cauley, you guys know I'm one of the biggest Cam Cauley supporters there is. I post about that dude every other day, it feels like, but he gives me good reason to. By the way, if you don't know a little bit about Cam, man, he's first of all hit a home run in every other game for like the past week and a half now. Maybe I'm exaggerating just a little bit on that, but what I'm not exaggerating about is I think he's 29 for 29 in stolen bases this year. Maybe he's 30 for 30. A couple nights ago, I watched him steal number 28. I was watching the Round Rock game, and 28 for 28. I know he went 29 for 29. I don't know if Cam Cauley got to 30 for 30. The dude's got a lot of intangibles. Obviously, he can play shortstop. He can play center field. He can play second. He can play third. He can pretty much play anywhere. I haven't seen him play catcher or first base. Otherwise, I've seen him pretty much play everywhere else. Cam Cauley would be a really interesting guy to bring up, but there's 39 spots right now on the 40-man. And with Montgomery coming back, I think he'll be back within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I don't know that it'll be within a week. I think if the Rangers are smart, you probably send Monty to Round Rock and you have him do some AAA starts. I mean, they're just building him up to like 1-2 innings right now. He's probably got 2 to 3 weeks, if I had to guess. I don't think he's going to be up any sooner than that. But nevertheless, by not promoting Cauley, you kind of leave that spot open. And you don't have to promote Cauley right now. I don't know how big of a need or a difference maker Cauley would be. I know there's actually some people out there, some Rangers creators out there that probably think Cauley would be more impactful than even what I think. And I'm probably one of the biggest Cam Cauley homers there is. I just don't know if Cauley comes up and makes a big splash. Could he be like a nice depth piece at this point? Yes. Now, look, I'd love to be wrong. Please come up and hit 5 home runs in your first 5 games. But I mean, I think Cauley is kind of just a nice piece at this point. I don't think he is like a major difference maker. Maybe I'm totally wrong on that, but I don't think there's an urgency to call up Cam. I think with the Montgomery activation looming in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I think the team is kind of okay with just letting that spot be open. So that way they don't have to make a tough decision. Because if you add Cauley to the 40 man right now, then you're going to have to DFA somebody to get him off of the 40 man when Montgomery comes back, because Monty's on the 60 day. So when you bring somebody back from the 60 day, you have to remove somebody off of the 40 man. And so I think they would much rather not have a tough decision and just activate Monty and not have to DFA anybody. If you bring up Cauley, then you force yourself into a tough spot where you probably have to DFA Kellenic or you have to DFA Nicky Lopez. I think Kellenic would probably be the first guy to go in that scenario. But I think the team just wants to probably avoid having that kind of decision on their hands, especially when it really doesn't hurt you to keep Cam Cauley in the minor leagues. Jansen to the 60 day. I think he's already on the 60 day. I really do. I think he's already on the 60 day. Somebody check on that, but I'm pretty sure that they already did that to make one of these other moves. I could be totally wrong. When Wyatt comes back, Kellenic will be the DFA. Well, I don't think you have to do that because Wyatt's just on the 10-day, right? You do have to send somebody down. You can't send Kellenic down. So you could potentially have a DFA for Kellenic, but you could just send somebody else down. I don't know that they would do that with Osuna. I think they'll keep Osuna up. I think he's done enough. You know what? I shouldn't say that. Nothing that this team does really would shock me. They might send Osuna down and keep Kellenic. I think that would be criminal, but they might do it. They might. So I think it is probably going to be a situation where you're either DFAing Kellenic or you're demoting Osuna. And obviously, you guys know what my preference would be. Nothing against Kellenic, nothing personal, but Osuna, man, I think he has obviously done more this year than Kellenic has. Granted, he's had more opportunities, but I think Osuna has proven he belongs up at the major league level. He's had a number of clutch hits. He had one yesterday with the bases loaded. It's kind of undeniable. I think at this point, he's the clutchest lefty bat we have. And yes, more so than Corey Seager right now. More so even than Brandon Nimmo. I like Nimmo a lot, but look, I feel like Osuna comes through more than any other lefty that we currently have. Jansen's on the 10-day. All right. Good call. Cade, good call on that. Somebody was commenting on one of my posts on X on Twitter, and they were saying essentially that they think it might be a bigger deal, the Jansen injury. Jansen, by the way, the injury is arm related, right? Tyler, any idea? Did you see by chance what the injury is? I'll try and look it up, but I believe it's like arm or like elbow related, if I'm not mistaken. And so somebody was commenting with Danny Jansen. Is it possible that, man, he might be out for longer? He might have some kind of like UCL or Tommy John, something going on. Now, look, I don't wish that upon anybody. I'm just reporting the facts, so don't shoot the messenger. But if that's the case, he's definitely doing 60-day. Like, definitely. Yeah, okay, Tyler. This actually makes perfect sense what this guy was commenting. You have a right forearm strain and you've got elbow inflammation. That just doesn't sound good, does it? So I think that might actually have some merit. You may have a situation here where the Jansen injury is a little bit less or a little bit more than what it's being made out to be, with the potential for maybe a lengthier absence. We'll have to monitor that. Look, I know that we have fun with Osuna. I know Osuna has his deficiencies, and Blake brings up a good point. Like, I would love for Osuna to have more pop. Like, that would be amazing. He doesn't have a home run yet this year. He does have a big league homer. I think he's hit a couple, but he doesn't have pop. He does not drive the ball enough to the gaps. That is definitely something he can improve on. I know some people believe that he really needs to work on his defense as well. I tend to think that's going to play itself out. I mean, Osuna has won awards for his defense in our minor league system. I really don't think he's as bad of a defender as people make him out to be. I do think he plays with an aggressive style that has burned him at the major league level. Down in the minor leagues, you can be a little bit more aggressive in a lot of different ways. And because you're so skilled and talented, you can make up for it. But when you're at the major league level, you get too aggressive. These guys are playing on a different level than anything you've seen before, and it can burn you. And so for me, the baseball flies a little harder, a little further, and maybe there's some plays where, Osuna is thinking, man, I can get to this, and you can't. And out in the outfield, he's moving around to center field, left field, right field. I know some people don't really understand that there's some difficulty involved with that. And this isn't a comment directed at any of you guys. It's more to the people I interact with on all my other socials. But it's not easy going from left to center to right all the time, like a freaking merry-go-round. It's just not. Right field is different than left field. Center field is different than left field and right field. It's complicated. He's got a little bit of a tough job in that regard. Now, I will say this. The Osuna's job is not to hit homers, right? He's not the guy. He's not the guy that you're expecting to drive the ball out of the ballpark. He's really not. And so I do think from that angle, I think we can be a little bit less frustrated with Osuna's lack of pop. I think you have a job for him, which is, I think Cade puts it really well. Get on base. Put the ball in play. And so I'm okay with him not having that pop and not hitting homers. But man, when he hits that first home run of the season, you're going to know about it. I'll just say that. You're going to know about it when Alejandro Osuna goes deep for the first time. You will see a one or two posts coming from me. That is for sure. Nobody will be happier than me when Osuna goes deep for the first time. Osuna, man, he's just an easy guy to cheer for. I think that's why I like him so much. He plays the game the right way, in my opinion, with a lot of energy, a lot of passion. He goes all out. He runs hard. Has a little swag, a little pizzazz. Insert whatever noun you want to play there. He has grown up at bats. Right? He's not up there in the box, looking overwhelmed or over his skis. You can't say that about every Rangers player, by the way. Some guys go up there and you're like, this dude doesn't have a clue. You never really feel that way with Osuna. You never do. Osuna, you always feel like you're at least going to get a good, solid AB with him up there. He's not going to go down swinging on, 3 pitches very frequently. Not going to happen a ton. Let me keep rolling here. Matt, appreciate the compliment here. Man, I really, take this seriously. This is the whole point, right? Just interacting, enjoying the community, Rangers fans getting together, talking ball. And you guys are great. I love getting to come here after the games and talk with all you and hear what you guys have to say. It's perfect. So thank you. Keep on rolling. Nimmo, I haven't heard a ton on Nimmo, but beyond, he hit his head, and I think he's going to be okay, but I'm not going to be surprised if he needs a day tomorrow. Rangers need to do a lot more before I would say World Series contenders. I think World Series contenders, you are going to need to make at least 2 or 3 trades for me to start using that kind of language. Love Osuna running. He gets great jumps on the bases. Yeah, he does a lot of things well. I think underrated defense. I think a lot of people get caught up in the Evan Carter Osuna debate. And so the easiest low-hanging fruit for Osuna is his defense, because he's had a few bad plays out there. But you know what? Everybody does. He's still young, hadn't even played a full season of games in the major leagues yet. So Osuna, I think, just does a lot of little things right. He doesn't have, the ball going out of the ballpark or, the ball getting driven to the gaps left and right, but he's coming through in the clutch. And I think he's done that numerous times this year. Comes up with a big hit, 2 out yesterday, bases loaded. I mean, what more can you ask for, really? Let's keep going here. Biggest thing with this team is the guys who are supposed to slug aren't slugging consistently. Berger and Young are raking, though. Yeah, I mean, and look, I know a lot of people, Wyatt Langford, are definitely maybe not including him on the supposed to slug but aren't. Berger and Langford actually are doing pretty well. I would probably direct more to Seager and then even Nimmo a little bit, right? Nimmo, he's not slugging as much as you would like. I think you'd love to see some more homers out of Brandon. I mean, look, 262, 753 OPS. It's not bad. Like that's pretty standard, maybe slightly above average, right? But Nimmo, only 8 homers in 317 ABs. I think you would really like to see Nimmo slugging the ball a little bit more, man. He had 25 bombs last year, just for perspective, and we're at the halfway point. So I would probably edit this a little bit, and I would say it's mainly, for me, Seager and Nimmo that I'd really like to see slugging the ball a little bit more. I know that Nimmo, a lot of people have brought this up when I bring up Nimmo, and I'm willing to explore this a little bit more, okay? Nimmo might be getting unlucky. That being said, is there a lot of luck involved in hitting the ball out of the ballpark? It's one thing if you're hitting the ball 100 miles an hour right at somebody, but are we really talking about bad luck when we're talking about the ability to drive the ball out of the park? I would say probably not. I would say probably no. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going in on Nimmo like he's the reason that we're losing games. I'm just responding to the comment of, it's interesting that the guys that you would expect to be slugging aren't the ones slugging. That's all we're saying here. So you would expect Seager to be up there among the tops in home runs. Now, he's been hurt, so obviously that's that. You would expect Nimmo, 25 bombs last year, to be up at the top in home runs. No, he's not. He's got 8 homers. So to me, that's all we're saying. We're not getting on these guys like they're the problem. I think some people would say Corey Seager is the problem right now. I'm not there yet, but he's not doing himself a lot of favors. I think the point is just this. You'd like to see Nimmo and Seager hitting some more home runs. I don't know what there is to disagree with that, man. That shouldn't be getting anybody up in their feelings. You'd love to see Brandon Nimmo, a guy who hit 25 bombs last year, be on a little bit of a better pace. A little bit of a better pace. Nimmo has a headache, but he's good. That's excellent news. Deadline is going to be very interesting. They've got to get somebody that can give you a little more right-handed pop. I love Foscue off the bench. They need a little more right-handed pop in this lineup, man. They really do. You've got Berger, great. You've got Langford, but you don't know if you can count on the health right now, unfortunately. You've got a couple of other guys. Young, he's a singles guy. He's a singles doubles guy right now. Young isn't really driving the ball out of the ballpark a ton this year. I'd love to get a little more right-handed pop. If they go get another lefty, so be it. Hopefully it can be a guy that can hit both lefties and righties. But at this point, man, I'd love to see them go get a big name player that can contribute in the heart of this order. I think that's a must this year if you're really serious about going to a championship. Absolutely, Matt, with you on that. Yeah, Nimmo, if he has to miss a game tomorrow, that's not the end of the world. Francisco, appreciate the gift, by the way, man. Thank you so much. Not needed, but much appreciated, brother. Did I miss a comment of yours? If I did, man, drop it. I'll make sure that I get that. Thank you, man, for the support. It means a lot. Let's see. Anything else? Okay, we're good. So tomorrow, we already talked about Parker Messick throwing for the Guardians. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I think I've done pretty good this year, but it is so hard for me to not say Indians when it comes to Cleveland. I don't know if you guys have the same trouble, man. It is so hard for me to remember Guardians sometimes. My older brothers, they were big into baseball too, and they just love getting like all the hats of the different teams. My stepbrother, he would always wear that old school Indians hat. Love that hat. So it's just so hard for me sometimes whenever we play them, whenever I'm talking about them, to not say Indians instead of Guardians. Messick throwing. He has definitely had a good year, right? I mean, 2.67 ERA. Last time out, he was playing the White Sox. He actually took the loss, man. He went 7 2/3, only gave up 2 earned runs, struck out 10, and the White Sox, the Fighting Will Venables, knocked off Parker Messick in a 10 strikeout performance. It's kind of what happened against us, right? We, I think, beat the Guardians 3-2 on the night that Parker Messick pitched. But over his last, 19 and a third innings pitched, he's given up, looks like 8 earned runs. So over the last 3 games, he's been a little more hittable, but still a really, really good pitcher, man. Really good pitcher. Yeah, Messick did give up the home run to Seager. Didn't Higgy hit a home run? I think we were talking about Higgy hitting a home run off of him as well. Messick is very good. I did say a split would be good. A sweep was a great shot in the arm, man. Yeah, that is so true. I told you guys, I'm like, I will be over the freaking moon if we sweep, and I am, man. It was a bit of an emotional roller coaster this weekend, like just the big leads, and then you see it get totally erased. Like, it was definitely an intense series, even though we won all 4. It got intense at times, man, but we got it done. I was fully expecting, let's just get a split. Let's just maintain, tread some water here. Rangers had other plans. Yeah, so Messick against the Rangers. Berger 0 for 2, Duran 0 for 2. Foscue 0 for 2. We'll see Foscue tomorrow. The Fosk. I told you. The Fosk, man. It'll be fun seeing him tomorrow. He'll be in the lineup with the lefty on the bump. And then Higgy, 1 for 2 with the bomb. We were right on Higgy. Wonder if Higgy will probably get it. He didn't play yesterday, did he? Wasn't it Diaz yesterday as well? Yeah, it was, because Diaz hit the big double with the bases loaded, right? Or with runners on first and second. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Higgy tomorrow. Higgy had some success off of him last time. Wouldn't shock me. Youngster, 2 for 3. There you go. Kellenic, Lopez. I don't know if we'll see them with a lefty. Both of them will probably be on the bench. Nimmo, 0 for 3. Osuna, no ABs. Pederson, probably won't see Joc tomorrow either. Corey Seager, 1 for 3 with the bomb. There it is. There's the breakdown. Cleveland's still above 500. That's the plan. Keep playing winning teams, man. Forget these loser teams that, for whatever reason, have become landmines for the Rangers. Forget them, man. Let's just keep playing winners. It seems to be going well. I know the Blue Jays are losing record now, but man, they came in right around 500. We just can't play the teams that are the bottom dwellers. Those seem to be the biggest issues for these guys. Why not go get Byron Buxton? I'm a Buxton fan. Somebody made the counterpoint, like, he's been injured a lot. Do we really want to add another guy who's had some bad injury history? I still would probably be a fan of going out to get him. That's just me. Let's see. What are we talking about that we did in 2023? Give me a little more context. For whatever reason, I missed it. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't think Cole Winn is a trade piece. I don't think so. Buxton, yeah, he has said that, but still, man, at the deadline, it gets intense. You don't know what it's going to be like around Minnesota in a month. Stranger things have happened. I do know that Buxton has kind of come out and said in so many words, like, yeah, I want to stay here, right? Yeah, that's right. Sweeping the Jays 2023. I'm connecting the dots now. Sometimes it's hard on the live, but nah, I'm connecting it now. That's funny, man. Now, look, I'll knock on wood. I sure hope that there's a solid connection there, but nevertheless. In 2023, Rangers swept a 4-game series against Toronto, then got swept by the Guardians after. But hey, it only matters what happened at the end of that season, right? If we get swept by the Guardians but end up winning the World Series, I guess that's okay. I guess that's all right. All right, y'all. I'm going to get off. We've been going an hour and a half today. Longest show we've done in a while. But after a sweep, always good. Always good. Roman Anthony would cost you like your entire farm system, man. I don't think there's any chance the Red Sox are dealing Anthony. Hey, I'm going to have a video out to you guys later tonight, so I appreciate you watching that. Thanks for giving your support to it. And then, look, tomorrow I'll do a little Guardians preview video. So we'll have a couple videos coming out your way in the next 48 hours, 24 hours, shoot. And look, if you know somebody that's a diehard, you know somebody who's a Rangers fan that maybe isn't familiar with the content, even if they are, thank you so much for sharing. That's kind of the biggest thing that I'm encouraging, man. If you could do whatever you can to get my video out to other people, much, much appreciated. I got to go post a Josh Smith highlight. Looks like Smitty just homered over in Tacoma. Might have to get that one up. That is good news. I hope Smitty figures it out down there. I'm not pleading for the Rangers to bring him back up quite yet, but that is good stuff from Josh Smith hitting his first home run since being demoted. Let's go get that up. All right, y'all. We'll see you. Hope you have a great rest of the day. And as I always say to end every show, God bless and go Rangers.